Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. Y'all, it's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in the market or to just learn from the market. And we are having technical difficulties with the internet in our area. I've recorded this video a few times and I do apologize for the delay, but let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, y'all. I enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, y'all, let's get started. Right, so we are looking at the VIX, and y'all, it's interesting because I had already had this area marked as 1294 as support and resistance at 1298. Well, we got that economic data, and look what the VIX finally did. When the SPY is up, normally the VIX is down. And there was some type of imbalance with the SPY and the VIX, and I knew something just didn't seem right, right? So what's interesting is the VIX went from 1301 all the way back down, and look, it came and found support at a previous area that we marked here at the 1223, which was a previous gathering spot for us. So that 1223 came down, found support here. So we could very well continue back to the upside, which will in turn bring the SPY to the downside, which will probably get us back on track again. Because again, the SPY and the VIX were off just a little bit. So I would definitely watch this area of 1295. It wouldn't surprise me to come back to this area. If we break above the 1298, just know the 1301, 1305, 1307 are going to be trouble places for the VIX to the upside, right? Normally when the VIX is up, the SPY is down. So let's go to the SPY just to see where we are, y'all. And the SPY's been trading in this area here, right? So we had 560.89 as support, 561.49 as resistance. That information came out. CPI and the initial jobless claims came out. And look, we came up and made a high up through 563.52. It wasn't surprising to see it break out of this gathering spot for this high here. The question remains, is it going to continue climbing, or are we going to get rejected here and come back to the downside? It would not surprise me to see SPY back at this 557 area. So if, we could very well, it would need to come back and make a new high of 563.52. I'm going to set an alert above this area. If we break above this area, we can continue going higher, right? So where are our trouble places? As of now, if we break under this 560.89 area, I would definitely watch the 560.42, 560.18. Below that, I would watch 559.52. And as you can see, y'all, I'm just going over here and looking to see what previously stopped the SPY. That's how I come up with these numbers. What previously stopped it from going down or moving higher, right? So below 559.52 area, we can come back to the 558.94. Below the 558.94, we could very well come back down to the 557.83. I would not, again, be surprised to see SPY back in the 557 area. So let's go look at Tesla and see where we are. Tesla is Tesla, right? So I have pre-market support here or resistance here at 562.67. We are above that area now. We're above the 5 EMA. We've broken through the 563.56, which is another area that I had marked. We made a high here. The high of this candle is 267.30. I would watch Tesla in that 267.30 area because we, above the 267.59, Tesla can continue climbing. It normally moves about $10 per day on average. Again, that could be in either direction. So my alert is set here above the 268.19. If we break that area, I know Tesla has broken through a level of strong resistance, and we can very well come up to this 274.84 area that I have marked up here. So again, if you trade Tesla, those are going to be trouble places to the upside. Now to the downside, which would not surprise me, right, to see Tesla back in this 252 area. So Tesla below the 261.07, just know we're going to have trouble at 260.20. Below 260.20, we're going to have trouble here at 258.63, below 258.63, 257.86. Below the 257.86, it wouldn't surprise me again to see it back at 252.15. So again, if you trade Tesla, I say trade carefully and be careful with your trades today. AMD made a high yesterday of 187.28. So where are trouble places for AMD as of now? I have 183.24 as support, 183.97 as resistance. As you can see, even with that information coming out, it came up, got rejected here We're around the 185, let's see, high 185.38 area. We got rejected, came back down, but look, price is back in the gathering spot, right? So right now we're under that 183.97, back at the support of 183.24, trading in this area. If we break below 183.33 area, we're gonna have trouble here at the 181.86, and that's just the low of this candle here. If we break the 181.86, we're gonna have trouble here at 181.51. Below 181.51, I'm going to the body of this candle here, we're gonna have trouble at 179.96. Below 179.96, we could come all the way back down here to 177.94. So if I traded AMD today, I always say, y'all, trade carefully, don't rush into your trades. Now, if by chance we break above this 185.26, it can come back and retest the 185.80, which is here at the ATR trailing stop, and above that we can come back and retest the 186.74. Above 186.74, 187.38. Those are going to be trouble places as of now for AMD. Again, nothing in the market is guaranteed, let me say that, right? So let's look at NVDA had a pre-market support here at 133.67. Resistance was at 136.42. We broke past that area only to create a high of 137.32. And right now, what was interesting about NVIDIA is it came down and it formed a hammer on this long wick here, bounced off this 50 EMA. So seeing this candle here wasn't surprising based on what we see here. So right now, if it breaks under 134.21, which it has already tested this area, right? If we break under that, we could very well come back down to 133.73. Below that, we can come back to the 133.24. Below 133.24, we can come back to the 132.84. Below that 132.84 area, just know we're going to have trouble at 132.29. Those are areas that NVIDIA has found support or resistance at previously. You know, and sometimes normally what becomes support becomes resistance, and what's resistance becomes support. Let's say that, right? So to the upside, we can continue moving, right? We are above the 5 EMA. These two candles are concerning for me for NVIDIA. I would say it would need to stay above the 5 EMA at the 135.80 area. If we can break above the 136.42, we can come back and retest 137.14. Above the 137.14, we can retest the 137.32. Those are going to be trouble places for NVIDIA to the upside and to the downside. Y'all, I would say trade carefully today. Don't rush into your trades. Let your trades come to you, and make sure you have clear signal as to why you're entering your trade. So we've already looked at AMD. Let's look at some inside day candles really, really quick. All of those mostly have reached the target already. Bank of America was one of those. As you can see, it broke through the 41.83. Our target, and made a high of 42.50. So it too has already reached the target to the upside. So I would give downside targets as of now, because we've already reached that, we could very well come back to the downside. Below 41.06 gives us $40.58 for Bank of America to the downside. Disney has not reached the target to the upside yet. Now, if it breaks above 97.27, 97.57 is the target. Below 96.25, 96.07 is the downside target for Disney. JP Morgan is an inside day candle. It has not reached. It did break through the target to the upside, but we got rejected here. So 208.01, if we break above 208.01 and continue moving, then the target to the upside is 209.79. Below 205.52, the target to the downside is 205.40. So I would say if I traded JP Morgan, I would definitely watch those areas. Now, Microsoft did reach the target this morning. So I would say, can we continue climbing? We very well can. But let's look at the downside triggers, right? Because we've already reached that inside target and we got rejected and came back down. So if it breaks under 458.75, the target to the downside is 457.86. I would say if I trade Microsoft, to trade carefully today, because today is going to be a very interesting day. And I'm going to go back and do a recap on the SPY. just to see where we are. Again, we're in this zone, and as you can see, even though we moved up here to this 563.52 area, look where price came back to. That's why it is very, very important to mark the the gathering spot, right? And a lot of people ask, why do I use the 30? May ask why I use the 30-minute chart, because if I use the higher time frame, I can see it a little bit clearer here. If I wanted to get the higher time frame, I just add more candles together to get that amount. But in my opinion, with trading, it's what works best for you and coming up with a plan that works best for you. So again, y'all, I'm super, super excited. I, again, would not surprise me. We're looking at the SPY to see the SPY back at 557.50. That information came up. Maybe it put the VIX and the SPY back on kind of like the same pattern wavelengths again. We don't know. But again, y'all, I hope that these videos are very, very helpful. I do apologize for the delay. Again, we've had some internet issues here, but I'm trying to be consistent. And again, I hope that everyone have a very, very productive day, a very profitable day today, y'all. And I always like to leave you with this, right? Be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.